right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. There we go. There we go. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm dying to know. So, for everybody who's interested, I'm letting you know now that we're making this a habit. We're making this a habit of us going live and us just reaching out to you guys and making sure that you know your options, you know your rights, you know what you are entitled to as it pertains to your money and your benefits. A lot of the times conversations are had and people are having simple conversations. And as these conversations are arising, you scan the room, you have people, they're nodding in agreement, but they don't really know what they're nodding to. Have you been one of those people? Have you observed a room where there was a conversation, and more in particular, there was a conversation about money. There was a conversation about benefits. There was a conversation about a financial scenario, and you or somebody else is trying to figure out what should you do? What options are available to you? Okay. And many of you guys who know, if you're on this channel, you have already went to lasterfinancial.com. You went to the events page and you clicked on the Flow to Grow events, and you were able to watch 1, 2, or all of the Flow to Grow videos. There's more coming out, by the way. And if you haven't, if you're new, we want to welcome you to the Laster Financial Consultants family. We want to encourage you to put your questions in the chat box, and we want to customize the conversation tonight specifically for you, specifically for those of you who have questions about how does this program, first and foremost, how does it work, right? So if you have questions, I want to preface it first and foremost with this right here. Okay. The first deal, we have a lot of resources on the website. Okay. They're all free resources. It's amazing how much we try to give away for free. Okay. Secondly, you will catch a lot of trainings, and more are going to be uploaded on All About Others on YouTube. So you can type in All About Others on YouTube here. I'll go ahead and put it inside the message box for you. All About Others. And that's the YouTube channel that we have here for you guys. Definitely go to All About Others and get caught up on some of the conversation that we are starting to have. Now, tonight, we're going to talk about the Trinity, the Trinity of financial investments, the Trinity of financial investments. Okay. And we are going to tie that in to understanding the S&P 500, the index. We're going to break it down to its smallest components and tell you exactly how it works. Now, the third thing that we're going to do, right? We're going to show you how you can start right now taking apart of anything that you learned tonight about the S&P 500. All right. I want to definitely give a shout out to a lot of these people who I work with. And I want to definitely, first and foremost, say thank you to CDP Media, who's been very supportive. If you haven't checked out CDP Media, go to cdpmedia.com. Everybody who's on my team at Laster Financial Consultants, those of you guys who are making appointments with us and you're getting phone calls and you're getting emails, that's the team. We work as a team here, so it's pretty doggone awesome. And more importantly, I want to thank all of my banking collaborations that we have now so that people are able to flow money. Get this. People are able to flow money within 24, 48 hours. Okay. And obviously, you have to qualify, right? That's needless to say, and we can help you qualify. But we have a bank collaboration that believes in what we're doing so much that they are supporting the very thing that we're doing, and they are the pinnacle of success for us in being successful and making sure that you guys get all this free information. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to entitle this conversation "The Trinity," the Trinity of financial investments. Do you have the Trinity or not? Okay, do you have the Trinity or not? What I'd like to talk about the Trinity of financial investment is ask this question right here. How many of your financial investments have all three of the Trinity? Okay. And when we talk about financial investments, let's narrow it down even smaller and say financial tools. Okay. How many financial tools do you have, or can you think about, right? Here, I'll give a couple examples of a financial tool, and then chime in, real quick, definitely in the chat box, type in what type of financial tools that you know of. You don't have to currently have them, but just chime in inside of the chat box. What financial tools do you currently have, right? Okay, so a basic financial tool is a checking account, savings account, a money market account, a CD, right? A 401k. That's a financial tool, right? For tax deferment, right? You can add in IRA, a Roth IRA. For some of you guys who are federal employees, a TSP. Okay. ADR, they call those American Depository Receipts. Real estate. Okay. Real estate investments. Okay. Those are financial tools, right? Stocks, bonds, okay. Cryptocurrency. Right? That's a financial tool. It's a financial tool, right? We can go as far as banknotes, credit cards, right? That's a financial tool, right? You can leverage that, right? Annuities, life insurance, that's a financial product. Okay. A health savings account, that's a financial tool. All right, that's a financial product, right? We can lump that all into the same category. A 529 plan. No, those college savings plans, do you have one of those? Right? So those are financial tools. Okay. Now, as you think about the financial tools, and look, there's so many more different financial tools. I mean, we can add in hedge funds, right? We can leverage, banking accounts or line of credits, HELOCs, right? Mortgages. That's a financial product or tool. Okay. We can add those all into one category. Now, the question you got to ask is which one of those have the financial Trinity? And what do I mean by Trinity? Trinity is, number one, do any one of those products that we listed, first and foremost, do they have a death benefit? Meaning, if you are no longer here tomorrow, if you don't wake up tomorrow, if you don't come home from work tomorrow, your eyes do not open. Lack of a better way, if you are in a better place. Do any one of your financial tools or investment, do they pay out a death benefit? And more importantly, that death benefit is a death benefit. That means, for the most part, it's tax-free. Is there a benefit that comes after you are no longer here? Now, death benefits, they come in different forms, so you got to watch it, right? So there's a declared death benefit, meaning no matter what, you die, this amount of money gets paid to your beneficiaries, whoever your beneficiary may be. Okay. And your beneficiary could be a spouse, could be kids, It could be your parents, your aunts, your uncles. It could be a good friend. It could be your business. It could be your trust. Those are all beneficiaries that your death benefit will pay out to. Okay. So the question is, do you have step one of the financial trinity? Okay. Does your financial product provide a death benefit? Now, let me dig deeper. Okay. Let's say you have a 401k account, and hey, this sounds so morbid, doesn't it? It sounds so morbid. You pass away, you die. But look, the reason why I bring this up, because the best financial plans that are laid out start from the ending and you work yourself backwards, right? If you try to build your plan in progression, there's too many variables and errors that can cause your plan to be insolvent, okay? But if you work yourself backwards, and it can make it all the way to where you are now, or all the way to your starting point, that's a good financial plan. So when we bring up death benefit, that's the part of the plan is, okay, when you're no longer here, what happens? When you're no longer here, what do you want to happen? Right? Because if your financial plan is really just for you, or until you are no longer there, then your plan is too small, right? Even if you do not have, I don't know, beneficiaries, shall I say, even if you don't have kids, even if you don't have family members, something financially is going to have to happen after you are no longer here. You have to plan for that. I talk to people all the time. Biggest example, first and foremost, do you have bills? Right? If you didn't come home tomorrow, is there a bill that will still be outstanding? Okay, great. What would that be? Would it be your utility payments? Would it be taxes? Right? Is there a debt? Right? We don't really talk about credit cards. Credit cards are supposed to be dissolved. The credit card debt is supposed to be dissolved after you die. Right? But what else? Now, if you were to hear tomorrow, is there some type of tuition for your kids that needs to be paid? Will your wife and kids, or your husband and kids, will they have to relocate if you are no longer living? That's what a death benefit is for. Okay. And many times we need to differentiate and talk about what a death benefit is not. Right? You want to start with the end in mind. And as you're talking about a death benefit, if everybody knows about the death benefit, it's not a true death benefit. So you want a private death benefit. Okay. For example, if you have a 401k and you pass away, and now that 401k is designated for a beneficiary, when it gets paid out to that beneficiary, there's taxes that's due. Everybody knows that money is there. Right? It's not public record. There's nothing private about it. It's all reported to the IRS. You got to think, does your family, do they want to remember you by leaving them a bill, a large tax bill? Okay. What a death benefit is not, right? For the most part, a death benefit should not be a burden. Okay. So that's part one of the Trinity. Okay. Also, number two, does your death benefit, does it include living benefits? Meaning, if you dying is the end of the game, right? Between now and to the end of the game, if life happens, is there a living benefit? Meaning, we understand what a death benefit is what happens after you pass away, but a living benefit is talking about benefits that you receive because you're living. Mostly because of health concerns. Okay, bear with me for a moment. God forbid the doctor tells you you have less than a year to live. Less than a year. What are your options? Here, let me tell you what I've seen. Let me tell you the options that I've seen. People have cashed out of their 401ks. They've cashed out their IRAs. They've took out a HELOC, a home equity line of credit on their house. People have taken a second mortgage on their house. People have sold their belongings. They have borrowed from their kids' college fund. They've taken out large loans from their businesses. Some people have gone as far as to falsify and manipulate paperwork in order to get a better gain of money because of a health-related adversity. Okay? So the living benefit comes in so you don't have to do that. So God forbid the doctor tells you you have less than a year to live. The living benefit comes in. God forbid that you have to endure a chronic illness, cancer, stroke, heart attack, Alzheimer's. That's what a living benefit is for. God forbid there's a stroke. There's kidney failure. I was talking with a guy yesterday who was suffering with a bout of renal kidney failure, and he has to go in for dialysis 3 times a week. And when I told him I was going to be talking tonight about living benefits, he said, James, make sure that everybody listening to your voice understands my story and understands how important living benefits are. This guy is a pastor now. He's an owner operator. He's a truck driver. And he was a truck driver for many years. Put all 3 of his kids through college. He's been married to his wife for 34 years. 34 years. And when he decided to retire and stop driving his truck, he thought he had a little bit of retirement, and he had enough stashed away to where he could walk away from the truck and he can start doing what he really loves to do, which is honoring his creator. And then the big kabam came along. And he found out that his kidneys, they still work, but they was not working as efficiently as he needed them to. He told me about the different stresses and strains on his life, but the biggest stress was he depleted about 90% of his retirement fund. So when he learned that there are programs that exist that has the Trinity built into a financial product or a financial service, his remark was to tell me tonight to make sure all of you understand and get a bigger appreciation of what living benefits are. You see, health-related adversities is one of the biggest things that can simply deplete your retirement savings. And no disrespect to those who are working at Walmart and at Costco, but we like to talk about retirement as a time of not necessarily you sitting on your butt all day watching TV on the sofa all day, but it's more of a transition that you're not going to work because you need to go to work. You're going to work because you want to go to work, because you like what you're doing. It makes you happy. It satisfies you. You want to be there. You like the people that are there. You like the relationships that you have created there. Not because you need to go there, right? Well, if you have living benefits, how they work are all you need is 90 days and a doctor's note. 90 days and a doctor's note, and you get living benefits, meaning that money is paying out to you until you get well. And what if you don't get well? or you still get a reduced benefit, but you're still getting a living benefit. Okay. And when we talk about death benefit and living benefit, the best places to get those are from is some form of life insurance or annuity. I specifically, day in and day out, I communicate with folks and I encourage them to make sure that they have some type of life insurance, but not any life insurance. They have the right type of life insurance that has a nice, huge, comfortable death benefit and a living benefit. Now, how do these two go together? Right? Because we're breaking these things down to the most simplest portion, is that when we're talking about a death benefit that's within life insurance, a death benefit has a face value to it, meaning that's how much will pay out to your beneficiary when you're no longer living. And the beneficiary is that person or persons or entity that receives that death benefit. The monetary gain from your life insurance product goes to the beneficiary. Okay. So that's how much will go to the beneficiary. Now, it has a face value. By law, an insurance policy has to state how much it will pay out between now and 100 years, and some insurance products go all the way up to 121 years. Yes, IRS is calculating death benefits all the way up to 121. And for those of you who are thinking that you won't live to be 100, 105, 110, 120, 121, it's not me who's saying it. The IRS thinks that a large majority of you are going to live to age 121. Oh, see, I'm letting the cat out of the bag. And if you don't believe me, you can go to the IRS website and you will see that they have actuary calculations of how much they will tax your 401ks and your assets all the way up to age 121. Okay. So between now and 121, let me just throw a question out. Do you think there's a possibility that you may not be able to take care of yourself? Or let me switch it. Do you think there's a possibility that you may not, even though you may not want to take care of yourself? You may want someone to come and help you do the dishes and the laundry and make sure you keep the place a little tidy. You may want somebody to come and assist you and get you back and forth to the doctor, make sure that you're eating some healthy meals, and maybe help you get to the bathroom if you need to be. Make sure that you're socialized, whatever the situation is. That's what living benefits cover. So when you go to the death benefit of and I call it the trinity of financial products. And number one being a death benefit. Since 2017, the Department of Labor ruled that all of the new kind. Now, some of you guys have had life insurance products for a long time, right? Like 10, 15, 20 years, right? Folks, that's the old kind. It's the old kind. And if you can get the new kind, you're going to be in a better place. Okay. So my whole point is that if it's done right, 50% of the death benefit you are able to receive while living. In the event of long-term care, in the event of chronic illness, critical care, terminal illness, there's 50% of that death benefit there for you. So for all of the people that are saying, hey, buy term and invest the rest, do you have enough term? And does your term have living benefits? What about some of you who are playing it safe, playing it cheap, shall I say, and you got maybe a $10,000 or a $25,000 life insurance policy? Folks, you got to up your game. It's not good enough. Why? Because it's not about when you die, where you're going to leave, are you going to be buried in dignity? The biggest thing that you want to know is on my way out. On my way out. Am I good? Right? That's the biggest question. So number one is death benefit. And number two It's living benefits. Living benefits. So the Department of Labor said that all new policies must have access to the death benefit while you're living. Hence, that's where the term living benefits come from. Okay? Which brings me to number 3. And remember, we talk about a lot of this on lasterfinancial.com. And if you haven't also liked The Laster Financial on Facebook, or go to All About Others on YouTube, okay? You're going to learn here tonight the other biggest thing. I call it the trinity of financial products. Does your financial product have this? Does it have a death benefit? Does it have a living benefit? Right? Because you got to start with the end in mind, just like any other business plan. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Thank you, Charles Jenkins, for noting that out. I appreciate you, man. The question is, does your product also have, does it also have a cash value, a cash accumulating value? I know. You probably were hoping that I start there, that I start with the cash value. Is it going to grow your cash? We want the first two first. We want the death benefit. We want to make sure that this which is mine goes to my beneficiaries that I've designated, that I pre-designated. Right? No funny business, no probate, no going to court, no hassling and haggling for something that's mine, that I'm giving to my kids. There should be no question. There should be no fight. There should be no lawsuits. It's amazing over the last 16 years how many times that I've seen people pass away and greed starts to lurk. And now everybody wants $1. They want to know how much the death benefit was, right? That should already be accounted for. That's nobody else's. It's nobody else's, but who you decided already. That should already be taken care of. I had a mom a couple years back before the pandemic started. And story goes that she was my first realization of how important living benefits are. You see, her husband had sought me out, and he wanted his wife in on all the conversation. And after our conversation, he gives me a call, a day or two later, and say, "Hey, James, I heard what you were talking about, those living benefits. I want to make sure that me and my wife have those benefits. I want to make sure everything's taken care of. I remember what happened to my mom, my dad, my grandma even. I want all this taken care of." I said, for sure. He said, seriously, make sure that that's there. When they got their policy, when his wife wasn't looking, and she had went to get a re-up on a cup of coffee, he said, "Hey, is this the kind with the living benefits? Tell me now, where are the living benefits?" And I showed him the clause and so forth. Fast forward the story, about 2.5 years later, I get another call, and it's James. We just had twins. How long do we need to wait before we can get the kids a policy? I said, well, really, 15 days. Great. We'll see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, just like that. Boom. So we cover the kids. Now the kids got living benefits. Roughly 5 months, 6 months afterwards, I get a call from his wife, and his wife tells me that she's concerned that they have to cut back on their budget, and they're going to want to have to consider canceling their policies. I said, okay, no problem. What seems to be the problem? And she said, well, James, I was just diagnosed with a rare form of breast cancer. I don't know what I'm going to do. Too tired to work. And I'm in some ungodly pain. So I'm going to have to step away from this policy and everything. And I said, well, hold on. Did you just say you were diagnosed with a rare form of cancer? She says, yes. I said, how long ago? She said, it's been 3 months, going on 4 months now. I perked up. I said, well, hold on. I said, did you file for your living benefit? She goes, what are those? I said, never mind. I immediately hung up the phone. I gave her husband a call. I said, look, I'm sending you over some papers. I need you to sign them and I need to get them turned in. He said, okay. He said, what papers are these? I said, it's for the living benefits. I said, thank you, James. Thank you. Fast forward to 3 months after that, I get a call from the wife again, and she says, James, listen, I didn't want to call the first month, but this is the third month, and I do not want to go to jail. I said, okay, what's going on? She says, James, on the first of the month, I've been getting a $17,000 check, and on the 10th of the month, I'm getting roughly a $10,000 check. And it's coming from that insurance company. She said, now I need you to tell them to stop it. I'm pretty sure that there's a mistake right here. Look, I appreciate it, but I don't know what this is, but you need to tell them stop. I said, hey, that's your living benefits. She said, excuse me? I said, yeah, that's your living benefits. She said, $27,000 a month. That's my living benefits. I said, oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. $27,000. She goes, James, I don't get paid that much in a month. I said, yeah. She goes, how is this possible? It's based off your death benefit. I hope you guys get it. Right? Which brings me to number three. Number three, this is the cash accumulation. Does your financial product, does it have a cash value? Does it have a cash value that you can borrow against? Does it have a cash value that you can leverage against? Do you have a cash value that's anticipated to grow, however, with guarantees? Do you? That's a great question, right? And I want you to think about, what am I talking about? So a cash value is the value, or let's say principal balance, is built inside of, whatever financial product or tool that you have. But also your financial product or tool, it has a way of calculating growth or anticipated growth. Okay, stay with me here. So let's say you had a mutual fund or IRA, and it's inside of the stock market. Stock market goes up, it goes down, it goes all around. So an average mutual fund, IRA, okay, when it makes money, that's awesome. But when it loses money, it has to gain twice as much to get back to where it once was. All right, stay with me here. So as you're looking at the graph that's above me, the graph above me says the stock market account, the mutual funds, the IRAs, and this is since 2000, has an average return, an actual rate of 4.02%, with all the gains, all the losses, right? It's not what you make, is what you get to keep. That's what's most important. Yes? Yes and yes? Okay. Now, versus an index universal life policy that's backed by the S&P 500. And we're going to talk about the S&P 500 really quickly. But if your financial product is indexed, meaning its growth is based upon the top 500 companies inside of the United States of America, the top 500 companies. Some of them are technology companies. Some of them are manufacturing companies. I mean, think about it. If Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, if all of those guys are doing well, and so are you. If they're doing well, so are you. If the top 500 companies are doing well, so are you. What happens when they're not doing well? When they're not doing well, you'll see that you just go level. See, when the market goes down here, it goes down. That's negative 6%. When the market went down here, that's 0%. That means, well, you didn't lose any money, but you didn't gain any money. And over a period of time, you're able to accumulate vastly more than the stock market accounts, right? So that's protected cash value. That's accumulated cash value. That's a cash value that you will not lose. Average rate of 6.48%. Okay, average rate. Now, if you take that into consideration, then you have to appreciate what the Index Universal Life has done over the past 20 years, right? These are actual numbers. So any of you who at work, you have a 401k, if you have an IRA, if you're invested in mutual funds, and I know some of you love Dave Ramsey, but I'm just trying to make a point here, okay? I know Dave Ramsey tells everybody go find a good mutual fund. Now I want to challenge that. Is that the best advice? I'm not saying it's bad advice, but if you know better, you'll do better. So let's break this down real quick. Let's say you had $100,000 and you invested it inside of mutual funds, your 401k or your IRA, like you did a rollover 20 years ago. Okay. If you see it in 1999, we were up 19.53%. But the following years, 2000, 2001, 2002, you remember the dot-com bubble burst, right? Negative 10, negative 13, negative 23%. The 401 account declined. The IRAs declined. The mutual funds declined. And in 2008, when the housing bubble crashed, it was a 38% decline, almost a 39% decline. Okay. And then in 2020, oh my goodness, the market just stopped. It just halted. With all the losses, right, including the taxes, right? Remember, living benefit, let's say you had to go cash out your whole account. You only would have $183,000, $960 available. That's 83.96% growth. Versus the IUL, okay, when it's made with a 9% cap. It was just a 9% cap. You made 9% here. You didn't lose anything here. Made another 9, almost 9, 3%, 9%, 3%. Look, there's growth. And the tax-free growth is $299,000, almost $300,000. That's almost a 200% return. So in the Flow to Grow program, it's built, the life insurance policy is the chassis of the program. The life insurance policy is the chassis of the program. And this is where it gets fun. Let's say you got $5,000 a month that you can get your hands on. Let's say that $5,000 came from your job. It came from investments. You got invested. It came from your pension. It came from rental income. It came from your cryptocurrency account. It's $5,000 that you can have liquid, let's say once a month, from whatever account you have. Okay? And you take that $5,000 a month of income and you put it inside of your bank account. And let's say you were saving 20% of that, which is $1,000. You put it inside your bank account, and as needed for monthly expenses, you pulled out $4,000. The wealthy folks Do not do that. They learn how to leverage that money. And this is what I want to teach you real specifically right now. I want to teach you specifically how to use the trinity of financial products to leverage your money and grow your money. Okay? $5,000 a month, monthly. You flow it to, it gets paid to your bank, right? And then you flow it through your Index Universal Life policy, and you save your $1,000 inside of your policy, not inside the bank. The banks are doing the same thing. Okay? You leave it inside your policy, and you can earn, up to 10%, 9 or 10%, by way of the S&P 500, right? And when you do it this way, you got the Trinity. You got a huge death benefit that's tax-free. You have living benefits for serious illnesses. You have tax-free income for retirement. You have cash value, which is safe from the market. All of your money is liquid, and you can access cash penalty-free. But the biggest part is you get to keep Uncle Sam's hands out of your pocket, because it is tax-free growth with tax-free distributions. So you take the money from your Index Universal Life policy, and then you put it inside your banking account. Now, the same $4,000 you're able to leverage and earn 3.5% or more in interest from the S&P 500. That's leverage. That's leverage. Okay, that's leverage. That's true leverage. That's leveraging your money day in and day out. And the more you flow, the more you grow. The more you flow, the more you grow. And so, as we're talking about this, as you can hopefully can appreciate, all that we're trying to share with you is that, in my opinion, that's why I call this the Trinity of financial products. Okay, Trinity financial products. And maybe I'm getting a little deep here, but a lot of people need to know about this. A lot of people gotta have it, right? Because I sincerely believe if you know better, you'll do better. And a lot of people don't like to talk about that. They just try to guess it, right? You remember the question at the beginning when we were talking about, have people ever been in a conversation mainly about finances and people would nod in agreement, but you can tell they don't really know the answer? The one thing that I want you to get out of this conversation tonight is something called leverage. I want you to understand what leverage is, and I want you to start using leverage. And if you start using leverage, you'll understand how the wealthy people are able to leverage their income. Right? Compare what I'm telling you with a Index Universal Life policy to, shall I call it the Wall Street plan, right? Where, you can't put more than 20,500 inside your 401k. They cap you on how much you can save. In an IRA, they cap you at $6,000. Unless you're age 50 or above, you can put a little more in there, right? You can put it up to another $7,000 in there more, right? Okay. Got a SEP or solo 401k. You max it out at 61,000. Maybe if you're older, 67,500. All right. In the Index Universal Life policy, you can flow way more. There's some business owners who flow $50,000 a month. They flow it even before they spend it, even before they pay their employees, even before they pay their vendors, even before they pay their utilities, even before they pay their equipment fees, even before they pay themselves. They flow money. And they do these things on an 80-20 split. So they take 20% and they stash it. Where? Not at the bank. They stash it in their policy where the money is liquid and accessible. So when they do that, as they're flowing this money, they have a ginormous death benefit. Remember, 50% of your death benefit is your long-term care. Like I really want you thinking about this, right? 50% of your death benefit is your long-term care. So there's some business owners that literally have, $5 million and $10 million policies. Is not abnormal for somebody maybe age 35 flowing about $100,000 a month could easily have a $3 million policy at the cheapest rate possible. So when you do it this way, when you're flowing money, you're actually able to buy life insurance wholesale rather than at retail prices. And who has the best, retail prices in insurance? Think about it. The State Farms, the Mass Mutuals, the Prudentials, right? Nothing against those companies, great companies. But are you getting the best bang for your buck? Right? So if you're flowing money and you're flowing 50,000, you're saving 10,000 inside your policy. By the way, if it's sitting inside your policy, you can put your hands on it. Up to 91% of it is liquid and accessible. Okay. But then you're pulling out $40,000, and that $40,000 that you pulled up, that number, even though you're using the money, that $40,000, that $40,000 number, you are earning 3.5% interest or more on your money. Okay. So that's leverage, people, right? And this all works in 3 stages. All right. It's a 7-year plan where you're flowing money on an 80-20 basis. You're saving 20%. You're consuming 80% of that money for whatever you want to do. The more you flow, the more you grow, right? And then stage 2, this is year 8+. And year 8+, you can flow 100% in and 100% out, 100% in, 100% out. You're still getting credit. You're still getting your premium credits. You're getting credit for money that you put in and you took out. This also means is that you do not have to leave a single dime in your policy after the 7th year. Your policy is good for the rest of your life. So essentially what I'm saying is we're taking the best of both worlds, the best out of term policies and the best out of whole life policy. Term policy, you're only paying for a term with a large death benefit, and whole life, meaning that you're paying for the rest of your life, but you got a cash value. So we're able to have a death benefit for the rest of your life, have living benefits, and have a cash value that's steadily accumulating, which brings us to stage 3. Stage 3 is your distribution stage. Now, it doesn't have to be 10 years. It can be any time after that 8 years. But depending on when you decide to take your distributions, you can either replace your income, replace your expenses, or replace your overall savings. Folks, this is lifestyle insurance that we're talking about. This is the trinity of financial products that we're talking about. And as we're talking about these things, I'm trying to open your mind to the possibilities of you one day retiring from where you're at now so that you can live your passion out. Whatever your passion is, whatever's deep down inside, whatever is so exciting that makes you happy that you'll do it for free. Sure, do it for free. This is where I want you to spend your energy at. Okay. This is where I want you to just kind of like open up and say, absolutely, yes. This makes sense. This makes sense. I need to know more. I want to know more. James, where can I get this? Who has this? Who can tell me more about this? All I encourage you to do is just one thing. It's to educate yourself. That's it. Just educate yourself and see what's possible. Now, to educate yourself, what we have available for you, I'll put it inside the chat box. Is a simple financial GPS consult where we give you a bird's eye view of your picture. And then from your numbers, not us, but from your numbers, it will give you coordinates of where you are in your financial map. And you get to see, are you on track to where you want to be? Now, there's a lot of people who may say, no, I know I'm not on track. Oh, how do you know? What do you have to qualify that, to quantify it? Right? And if you don't have anything to quantify it, how do you know? Or is it just a gut feeling? Over the past week, I've worked with 3 people that they're good to go. And they thought they wasn't. So I simply encourage you guys to check all over your accounts and see what accounts has the Trinity. Do you have the Trinity there? The financial Trinity. Do you have death benefit? Do you have living benefits? And do you have cash value? Now, you may have cash value, but do you have living benefits? You may have living benefits, but do you have a death benefit? And vice versa. And if you don't, let's have that conversation sooner rather than later. You know, I dedicated tonight to this conversation because proper planning makes execution easier. I want to end tonight with talking about one of my clients. I think she's on listening right now. And my heart goes out to you and your family and what you guys are going through. But as you said it, you're so glad we planned ahead. You're so glad. You're so glad. You're so glad. Because we were all able to take a lot of these things into consideration. And now look what's happening. You're getting ready to sell your house. You're getting ready to downsize to a 1-level house like you've always wanted. You're getting ready to move closer to family and loved ones. Your husband is getting ready to be around people that he knows loves him and cares for him. And those are going to be the people that he remembers during this tough time. Those are going to be the people that surrounds him during this tough time. Because you had living benefits. You were able to finance the sale of your house because you had cash value. And even though we don't want to talk about it, as he wanted it, there's death benefit available for you. So I want to encourage everybody to go ahead and audit your financial well-being. And it doesn't matter what ideology you support. The Dave Ramsey's, Susie Orman's, it doesn't matter. Take all your plans and you put them together. And look at what you have and what you don't have. And check your levels and see if they are efficient. See if your levels are just right. If you need help with that, anybody on my team can help you with that. Okay? I know. Some of you have, in a weird way, sacrificed your retirement for your kids' college tuition. It's okay. It's okay. We have a remedy for that. But you have to start sooner rather than later. It's okay. I know some of you guys are dealing with student loans. It's okay. We got a remedy for that too. But we got to start sooner rather than later. It's okay. It's okay. I know some of you are battling debt right now. You're in over your head with debt. You have a mortgage, you have credit cards, you have a car bill, you owe the bank. I get it. It's okay. We have a remedy for that. It works. It works really, really, really good. So what I want you guys to do is just think about our conversation tonight. And if you are watching this on the playback, leave a message inside a comment box and we'll get back to you. Definitely check out lasterfinancial.com. Join us on All About Others. And I look forward to the Lion's Den. Oh my guys. I look forward to sharing with you guys the Lions Den, the cool new things that we're doing out there, to give away free financial literacy information. This is information that they do not teach in the schools. So it's kind of like you got to figure it out on your own. So what we want to do is we want to bring that information to you, make sure that you have it, but not only have it, teach you how to start applying that into your own financial life. That's all we're asking to do. Okay. Will you be our neighbor? All right, folks. I'm James Laster, Master Financial Planner, CEO of Laster Financial Consultants. We are now a nationwide firm supporting you and yours, the multiple communities that we're supporting across the across the country. We're super excited about 2022. This is a huge building year for you and a huge building year for us. Let's do this together. Look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday night. We're going to talk about how to retire and stay retired. Okay. We're talking about how to retire and stay retired. I love you guys. I love you, fam. Guys, take care. Be well.